Okay. So I'm just waiting. We've got some technical hitches at the moment. Oh no, we're in. Oh, at last.
There's Angie. There's Angie.
Oh my God, at last. What happened?
I asked Susan to host it for me, but there must have been connection issues. So anyway, I haven't been able to get my video on, but we can make a start. That's okay,
Oh,
Angie.
there you are, Alice. Hi. Hi, everyone.
Hi. Hi, Angie.
Hi, Dot. Hi, Jane. Hi, Kay. Hi, Sarah. Hi, Bridget.
Hi.
How's it going? Have you had a good week?
Yeah. Now, I might have a bit of a problem this morning because the person down below is having a new kitchen fitted, and if they start drilling and hammering, I'll put myself on mute so that you don't all get deafened.
Yes. Oh, dear. Hopefully it's not for too long.
No, probably all week. But...
Okay, good. So, landscape. Has everyone got their painting?
Yeah.
And I don't know if anybody kept painting or we're all ready to start. So we did last week, just to recap. So we did the black and white, the tonal. Yeah. So we don't need that anymore. Chuck that. And now we're onto the.
Can we just do that? It's quite.
Yeah, just chuck it. Yeah, because. I mean, I say that, but I don't think we'll have to go back and look at it, because now we're going with the colour.
Oh, man, you shut the door. Are we going upside down again?
What do you think? I think so.
I think so. I think it works. I'm really keen on it now.
You are? Oh, there you go. I've got an upside down convert. So if we're going to do this bit here with the yellow ochre,
Right.
I haven't done anything yet. So I've just put my painting on the easel from last week. I don't know if it's in a good position. Maybe I'll move it a bit.
I haven't done anything either.
Good. Okay. So
I've done something.
hi.
Alice.
Hi.
I don't want to
Now
do
that's Jane,
Sorry
not
about that.
Jane.
No, it's Susan.
Susan.
Sorry, I'm hosting and I had terrible trouble trying to get logged on. Please
Oh,
forgive me.
that's okay. We're here now. That's fine, Susan. So I'm just wondering if I should move my easel a bit that way.
Little bit.
And maybe a bit forward. How's that? Yeah, that's good.
You know what's distracting it is the white background behind the canvas. Is it another picture or a...
No, that's the wall.
It's so white behind you.
It is, isn't it? Wait, maybe I've got the lighting up. I'll turn the lighting down a bit and see if that helps.
Yeah.
How's that? I know what you mean. You want to see the edge of the picture.
Yeah.
Maybe I'll just try and adjust the lighting so it's. How's that?
Hello, Dot.
Hi.
That's a bit better, isn't it?
Okay.
I,
Okay.
That's better, Angie.
Hi, Sarah. Hi, Bridget. And hi, Anne.
yes, I think that's better, isn't it? Because you can see the edge. I was blown out a bit too much before because I went a bit overboard on the lighting maybe. So I completely lost my train of thought there. But that's all right. So we're going to go upside down and get some yellow ochre and white. We'll mix some of that. And then we'll try and get this yellow onto the canvas. So even though we're thinking about colour now and we're just doing our warm colours and our cool colours. So we're going to go from warm to cool, from warm to cool. So the last thing we did was the cool in the sky. and we're going to go and do the next warmest part of the canvas, which is this bit in the foreground. But if we approach it as just an area,
Yeah.
you know, at the top of the canvas, because we'll be working upside down, which has got these yellow bits in it, but there's also, I'd like us to think about the texture that's there. So that would be quite a dry brush, I would say. Even like if anybody had an old toothbrush or something a bit wiry to get that wiry, dry grass. I mean, it's not dry. Yeah, no, it is kind of, yeah, it's sort of lots of sticks and stuff. So, or you could just use your brush, but I think keep your brush kind of dry. So at the same time as putting in the warm tones, we'll think about putting in the, putting in some kind of gesture, just some kind of movement in the grass there. Anyway, so I'll show you what I mean by demonstrating. So we're going upside down. So I'm going to flip this. There we go. Now everything's flying everywhere.
That is not just me, Anne.
No, it's not just you. I mean, I don't even know what this is, but it's become an essential part of my studio equipment. I think it's like a broken aerial or something. I'm not sure, but I like to have it at the top here, and then I can clip something on it.
That's very good.
I mean,
Maybe a wire hanger that you can open up or something will do the trick too.
yeah. I didn't know. I think it might sag a bit.
Yeah, you're right.
Because sometimes, like on a big canvas, I've got to be able to move it right out like that.
Yeah.
See, it kind of works all right.
Right.
So, I'm just thinking I need to move this down a bit so I can get the top. Or I might just hold it. And I'm just looking at the bottom of this. It's kind of like the yellow here is framed by some darker areas.
That's true.
So, actually, I've got enough darker areas in probably. So maybe we'll put the yellow in, the yellow ochre, and then we'll go and put some cool dark, some of those dark bluey greeny tones after that. So it's jumping ahead, but that's just, I'm just, I guess, laying out what we're going to do. And also there's like the smallest bit of smudge of yellow here in the hill. So you don't want to attack that with a dry brush, because that's how we're going to distinguish between the foreground and the background, is we're going to use more detail in the foreground by using a dry brush. And then when we go and put this little streak of yellow on, which is very handy for bringing out a hill in the background, that's just going to be like a really, because it's so far away and the yellow is just very kind of, oh, not misty, but do you know what I mean, sort of blurred. It'll just be, you could do that with either a wet brush or just like a little smear of yellow. But also I think yellow, 50% yellow, 50% white. So not like a straight yellow ochre. You want it to be quite faded. And then that's going to give you that sense of space and 3 dimension, is to have maybe the colour at the foreground a bit stronger, because colours generally in this kind of winter light especially will be strong maybe in the foreground, but as the landscape recedes, I'm getting into a bit of theory here, but the colour will become more muted. Okay, does that make sense?
Yeah.
And that's how we create the space within the painting. So yeah, I'm gonna get my palette ready now and get a brush. So I think I would use a different brush to do that foreground grassy bits. to just doing that little bit of streak of yellow on the hill there. Okay, now here's my palette. It's paints. So I'm just getting some yellow ochre and some white, titanium white, bigger tube. I like these paint tubes that are sort of plasticky because it's really, because I'm sometimes I squeeze at the top, and as you know, like toothpaste, which we can use for paint we discovered last week, you squeeze from the bottom. My mum used to always go crazy as us kids because we'd just get the toothpaste and squeeze it at the top. But the good thing about these plastic tubes is I can squeeze it at the top. Doesn't make any difference because, you know, it's not like those old toothpaste, you know, from the 70s and 80s where it was like made of metal. Yeah. Well, a lot of paint tubes are made from metal too. Like these ones. Like these ones, you definitely want to squeeze from the bottom. That's oil paint. Anyway, so I'm getting distracted by my paint tube squeezing technique.
That's alright. I've got a metal one and I've been squeezing it in the middle, so now you've said that.
Squeeze from the end. Yeah, if you have got a metal one, squeeze from the bottom. You can even wind up the bottom if you really like opening like a tuna can or something. You wind it from the bottom. But you can, I actually noticed they had, because I was looking at Atlantis Art Supplies, one of the art supplies places. Sorry, I know I should be shopping from my local craft shop, but they didn't have, I was actually ordering paint for someone I work for, and they don't have the colours. So I just want to make that clear. I would go local. But they had those special machines that you put your tubes in, and it squeezes the paint out of the tube.
No.
Yeah, which I thought, oh, that's actually, even though they're £30, or you could buy ones for £100, but the £30 ones, I thought you probably would save that in paint.
Yeah. Get that last bit out.
Yeah, and you can use it. You don't have to. You can use it on all of your tubes.
Yeah.
Anyway, so I'm into using all the paint that I've got left. So this is a really old, dry, rubbish brush, but I mean, I feel bad calling it rubbish because it has seen me through a long time, and it's, when I say it's rubbish, it's not soft. It's really hard, and but I think this might be good for making grass. Actually, I have used it in the past to do foliage. So first I'm going to mix the paint, not with this brush. Not that that matters. I'm just going to mix it with this. So I'm going to mix the white and the yellow ochre in together. Not the whole thing actually, Ange. Don't, because there might be areas that I want to keep. So I'm going to find... Yeah, so I've just mixed a little bit of yellow and white, yellow ochre and titanium white. And then I'm going to go in. But I think I'm going to go in with the dry brush, but not too much. I don't want to put too much on, because there's not that much. See, as you can see, it's only like a really small part of the canvas, isn't it? But because it's in the foreground, and because we're going to put a bit more detail there, it's kind of, you know, it's an important part. So I'm just going to go in like this. I'm just going to guesstimate where this grass starts and just sort of go like this with a dry brush. Can you see that?
Yeah.
Because I can bring it up closer if you want. But you can see immediately it's sort of coming to life a bit with, yeah, I like that, with this grassy bit.
Oh yeah, nice.
You know, and I think a really expensive brush, you know, wouldn't do that. It's good to have a really old crappy brush. And I'm not putting a lot of paint on the canvas. I'm being really kind of frugal with the paint. Just sort of dabbing it like that. But you know, you find your own technique depending on what brush you're using. But I would say just kind of put in indicative strokes rather than... See, I don't think I have to do that much more. There's a bit going up here in front of this tree branch, whatever's going on there. And then there's this bit at in the front foreground. I'll just sort of put that in. But that's more like a tree fern or something else. But I'll just do something roundabout. Because I'm not going for exact strokes. It's really just indicative of this stage. And then... So it's mostly concentrated here, and I might go in like, I might put a little bit of just plain yellow ochre on now, so there's a bit of variation in the tone.
Excuse me, I've got to go to the door.
Okay, get the door. Don't want to keep the postman waiting. So I'm going in with a slightly... And now I've got too much paint on my brush. And there is a little bit of white of oh dear. That's just a whole big blob of white there, so I'm just going to take that off. Okay. I've actually got a big blob of white on my picture there, so that's not helpful, but anyway. So I'm just going to wipe all the paint off my brush now. And I use this smock as a bit of a rag sometimes as well, and just wipe my paintbrush on it. And so I'm going to go in with a dry brush and get some of these. There's bits of lighter bits of foliage here. I'm just thinking, will I use this brush? Because this brush was good for grass. I feel like this is more like long sticks. So I might use... I'll see. I'll have a go. I'll see how it looks. See if I can get this. See, I feel like that's too grassy. So I'm going to use something else. I might use... Maybe I'll use like the end of this brush. This brush, which is not been washed properly and gone really hard, which isn't very good.
Which brush can you hold it up? Oh my goodness.
So you could use like the end of paper. I don't know. I just feel like I just want to put it in a little bit. I don't think this is the right brush either. I might use the end of you might use the end of a piece of cardboard or something. We'll give that a go. I'll get a piece of cardboard. Okay, so I don't know if you guys want to try this at home. So I've got this old piece of cardboard from a box. Just gonna load that up with paint. So this is when I think it starts to get fun too. So I'm just putting the paint on the end of the cardboard there. I mean, I don't know if this is going to be anything, but I just thought maybe to get those long sticks, it might work. So see that? That's better. I'm much happier with that. But it's a bit dark.
I mean, what colours you were using, Angie?
So I'm using...
What colours have you used?
This is just yellow ochre and titanium. A 50-50 mix. And I'm putting it on the end of this old piece of box cardboard, which is about 2 mils thick. And I'm going to just kind of, I mean, this is like a printing technique, isn't it? Or painting, whatever. It doesn't really matter. And I'm just kind of doing that. So I'm really happy with that. Really happy with that. To get the sort of long stick foliage thing going on there. And it's kind of like it's the light picking up the edges of the branches as well. So I can put the branches in. I can move this to be different shapes and put the branches in using that. Do people want, if they got a bit of paper, I'll just give you some time. Let's do it, because I think this variation, see, I've put the colour at the edge of the branches. I've got some black lines, which are the branches of the tree or the trunk. And if I put this yellow ochre and titanium mix going sort of along the top edge. Hang on, where's the light coming from? It's coming from the side. So along one side of the branches, that's what I'm going for. So I sort of did it here, but I might have done it. No, I think that's okay, because we're not going for exact. But if I do that, then I've put some light around. Can you see enough? I might take it and show you what I mean, because I think this is working well. I'm really pleased with that. But I'm always thinking you don't want to get too pleased, Angie, because you know what's coming next after being pleased with yourself. So see how that's, I don't know if you can see very well there. Can you see how there's different movement in there using that special cardboard technique, the edge of a box piece of cardboard.
I'll have to go and find some cardboard.
Okay, so go and find some cardboard.
I'm using an old postcard.
Yeah, perfect.
Well, it may not be perfect, but it...
Well, no, we're not going for perfection, but just it's something, isn't it?
It's something.
It's something.
Yeah, it's definitely something.
Yeah. So I don't know how that's going to work, Kay, with your watercolours.
Yeah, I'm trying, but the grass worked okay, but I don't know about these stems.
About the tree trunks, yeah.
Yeah, I've got a bit of cardboard, you know.
Yeah, so a bit of cardboard. You could use a bit of string, or you could use, the other thing I've seen people use is, like, you can use the other end of your paintbrush.
Oh yeah.
So, but then that's a very long straight. That's a very straight line, and the thing is, the trick is, you probably wouldn't want to use the edge of something. You could, but the lines will be very straight, and I think you could give the game away, because you don't really have straight lines in nature generally like that. So you're much better off getting something that's got a bit of wiggle wobble in it, you know, like an old bit of crumpled cardboard.
It's brilliant. A wiggle woggle.
Yeah, these are highly technical terms.
Very technical, yeah.
Yeah, you go to art school to learn about the wibble wobble, or the wibble wobble. So I'm going to, where's my picture? Keep going. And the other thing about this is that the branches down the bottom are a lot thicker, and then the branches go a bit thinner up the top. So you could be scientific about it and go, well, I'll use a thicker cardboard to get the branches down the bottom, and then I'll get like just the edge of a postcard or something, a thinner piece of wood. Although, I don't know if that's, if you need to go there, but you could use that as a strategy.
I still don't see, Angie, how you get the colour you put on the cardboard. Why does it stand out against the yellow oak? Because they're both the same colours.
Yeah, but I'm putting it over the dark areas of the tree. So I'm putting it over, at the moment I'm working in here where there's some tree branches and it's all quite dark. So I'm putting it over the top of that and that's coming out. Yeah?
Because my yellow ochre looks much too bright.
Yes. Okay. So you need. So I think what happened. Oh, you show me, Dot, and then I'll know what you mean. Because otherwise, I'm just guessing. Yeah. So that's okay. Oh, it's looking very misty. So I feel like because you kind of went over it completely with the yellow ochre, whereas underneath there could have been some darkness. There could have been some darker areas, but it's okay, don't worry. I know what you're saying. So what you want to do is you want to get in there with a dry brush and put some darker areas in to get that texture of the grass.
Okay.
Are you all hydrating, by the way?
Thank you very much for that reminder, because I really needed to take a sip. Could you tell my voice sounded dry, Susan? So, I need to pop a little bit of apple cider vinegar in my water.
When you're talking about darker areas, I'm actually thinking more of the darker, like black grey, right? Is that what you're talking about too?
Yes, but because we're working in colour, just hang on a second.
Okay.
Just had to put the vinegar in my water.
Yeah.
Because we're working in colour now, Sarah, we won't go back to the blacky grey. I think we'll just go straight in for some foliage coloured. So I would recommend, if you use, so we could make our green. So mostly black. So go get your black, and then do a mixture of yellow ochre and blue.
Okay.
So just a little bit of colour theory here, like with the yellow and the blue. You think, oh, I have to mix it to make green, because yellow and blue make green, yeah. But actually, you don't have to mix it. You can put them to next to each other, like Vincent van Gogh and some artists throughout centuries, because your eye will actually read that as a green. If you put a dot of blue next to the dot of yellow and put them together, keep them separate, but your eye will actually read that as green. What I'm saying is, like, don't be really kind of, and also that movement that was created. So if you go up really close to a Vincent van Gogh painting, you'll see the grass, although it's not green, he'll have like a whole array of colours together separately, but placed next to each other, and then but the eye reads it as green. Anyway, it's just something to remember. Like next time if you're in an art gallery, probably, you know, this time next year, hopefully, fingers crossed, we'll be able to go to art galleries again. And actually, I think they're all open now anyway. But if you go right up close to some of the Impressionist paintings and the colourist kind of paintings, you'll see that the colours aren't mixed together to make green, that actually it's made up of a whole lot of colours, and there's a lot more colours there on the canvas than you would read standing back and looking at it.
Okay.
So I don't know if that's very helpful at all. I guess what I'm saying
Art
is...
Centre is open,
Very helpful.
and there's an amazing exhibition there
Where?
at Bridport Art Centre.
Oh, yeah. Is that the Philip Sutton?
No, it's Ricky Romaine and two other.
Oh, about... oh, yes. Hugh Dunford Wood, I think, is in that. About the refugees. Is it?
Yeah.
Oh.
Yeah. It's phenomenal.
Is it?
Yes.
Oh, I'm sorry. I meant to go to the preview this week, but I forgot.
I went and I didn't see enough, so I'm going to go back again. Definitely. It's still open till January, and as you know, I'm moving next week, so I haven't got that much time now. But I'm going to go back again.
Do we have to book?
You have to ask them. I don't know.
Yeah.
I had tickets for the opening, so you did.
Yeah.
But I guess so, because they can only let in a certain amount of people.
Yeah. I just couldn't find where to book on their website.
But tonight I'm going because Ricky is doing a concert.
Yeah, he's doing a talk or something, isn't he?
Well, the talk was the opening. That he's doing a concert tonight, so I'm going to that.
Wow.
But I'm going to try and see the work again.
Yeah.
Over the course of the next few weeks. After I've moved, I have a lot of after I've moved plans.
Okay. Yeah, I get that. So I'm just going to finish doing the yellow ochre on my bit of cardboard because I like that. And then I'm going to go back and we're going to mix that darker colour. See, I think this is good. I like this. I'm just going to, and then I'm going to like put a little bit up the top here. But just a little bit. And this is actually really great because the corrugated cardboard makes a kind of ripple like a tree trunk effect on the painting. So I'm really pleased with that.
Yeah, it's nice.
So, and then there's sort of maybe some thinner bits. So I could get a thinner piece of paper, but I'm not going to bother. Just going to crack on. And then, so what I was saying about doing some green of the foliage, but we want to get the colour tones right. So people like the colourists that use a whole lot of colours to just express one colour. I'm actually losing my train of thought. But what I wanted to say is they get the right tone. So all the colours that they have together are the right tone. So what do I mean by that? So they're the right temperature. So for instance, if you had all the colours here that we're working with are all very complementary to each other. So the red, the blue, the yellow ochre, they're all similar tones. But then if you went in there with like a lemon sherbet or a viridian green or something that's just off tone of a different colour temperature, if that makes sense, then it will look funny. It'll look funny and become sort of illustration picture book really quickly. So what I'm saying is, with the cobalt blue and the yellow ochre, you know, you can use them separately, try, experiment, or mix them together to make a green, and then, but make sure you get that darkness in there, because it's sort of that picture that we're looking at. There's darkness of the leaves, there's a lot of shade in there as well. So Sarah, if you mix your black with just a little bit of blue and a little bit of yellow, and then you'll make a nice dark green.
Right.
And then you can start to go over your yellow ochre with the dark green. But always just be looking at your photo for reference.
Okay.
Yeah, because that's what's going to make it all make sense, because we're going to refer it to this photo.
Did you say black, blue and yellow ochre?
Yes, to make a dark green. And you know how I said about the Impressionists using like blue and yellow next to each other?
Yeah.
They didn't always mix their colours. One really important point I need to make, because you don't want to all of a sudden now not be mixing your colours and have one area which is like that. If you were going to go for it like an Impressionist or Pointillism, where they do the dots on the canvas like Seurat, if you wanted to take that kind of technique, you need to do that over the whole painting, yeah, to keep it cohesive. So the way you treat one area of the painting, you want to treat the whole area of the painting in terms of colour. Okay? So if you're going to go, yeah, anyway, so that's enough said about that really. But in terms of like different mark making, you know, mix up your brushes, mix up your your what would you call this, your tools, your painting tools, because that will give you a really nice variation of marks. And so for instance, in the foreground where there's a bit more detail, then it's really nice to bring that variation in, which we're doing with the dry brush and the bits of cardboard or an old toothbrush or whatever, a bit of stilo wool pad. So one of the things that one of the painters I know, they use like those sponges and things, wiry sponges, or even though they're kind of plasticky, to get those different effects. Yeah. So those different marks. So I'm just going to come in here and get put a bit more lightness there. And also I see there's a bit of, I might put some marks there in the trees. So I'm using my dry brush to put in some of the tops of the tree. Here, I see there's a bit of yellow ochre and yellow around there. Can people see that on their picture? Around the edge of the trees.
So how are you doing that?
So just with my dry brush again, Sarah.
Okay.
So, and I'm.
And are you using yellow ochre without any other colour, or a little
No,
bit of?
yeah, a little bit of white. It's too much, I think, with the without. So here I've just got it mixed there, and I'm just I'm putting it on my brush, but then like I'm wiping the brush down so it's really dry. So I should be using a rag really, but whatever. I often use my smock. It's quite thick cotton, so it can take it. And then I'll go in and do some leaves here. And then maybe, you know, put some paint on here and go in with some branches. Yeah, I'm pleased with that. But then I want to do some coming the other way as well, so it doesn't look too rigid. And then a bit more yellow in here. So, and there's a bit of in here as well. But I just don't want to put too much, so I need to. And then here where I said like there's thin branches, maybe I'll use like this other end of the bit of cardboard, which has got a thin flappy bit at the end. Maybe I'll use that. I'll put some paint on that and go in. Oh dear, that didn't sound good. Someone worried. So I haven't gone back to my darks yet. I'm still just putting in the tones of the tones. What am I saying? Still putting in these branches. So I've got my thinner bit of paper. And I'm just loading it up with some probably 50% yellow ochre, 50% titanium white. And I'm going to put some in here and just some thinner ones here. I don't know if this is working really, but there's some marks going in there which are similar to that. I think I don't know if you can see that, but that's I'm happy with that, happy enough with that. But as you can see, I'm doing a lot more talking than I am painting. There's not there isn't a lot of paint going on because I just don't want to overdo it really. But then if I do, it doesn't matter. I'll just go in with the darker greens and go over the top. But and then there's branches sticking out here, but I'll do those in my dark green. So I think I'm going to keep this very special, expensive painting tool and use that to do those green branches that are sticking out. You know, those thin branches that are sticking out in the picture. You use a bit of cardboard, get some dark green on that and put the sticky out branches in. So I didn't know if there's that much more yellow to put in here, but maybe a little bit. There's some highlighted leaf areas, so I would maybe just do a little bit of dry brush, but not much at all, where the highlighted parts of the trees are. And as you can see, the other thing I've done, which is really not very good, is just concentrated on one area of the painting, and I've forgotten all about the other tree, all about the other side over here, which isn't good. But there's not a lot of yellow, but I'm going to put some yellow on the top of here with my dry brush. I'm going to put some yellow highlights in the tree on the other side, which has got some yellow bits here at the top, yeah? So I'm going to put those in. And I'm doing that, as you can see, it's making like little, using a different brush technique, which is something like, because this tree over on the right has a lot more leaves on it, it's a bit more puffy, so I'm using a slightly different brush technique to try and get those bits highlighted in. So, but a lot of this tree is quite dark, so I've just got a little bit, and there's a little bit there of light shining through the trunk. I've put that in. I'm just going to go and smudge that with my finger, because I don't want that to be clumpy like the leaves. I want that to just be a little bit of light coming through the trees there. So I've sort of smudged it with my finger. And I'm going to move this so I can see what's going on over here as well. So I'm just used a dry brush to get some of these clumpy bits here at the top of the leaves, yeah, where the sun is coming in. And then I'm going to go, I've sort of done that, but not very well. Well, when I say not very well, I didn't get those sort of stripy bits, because that's really just like a stripe, isn't it, of yellow. But there's also some light coming in here with some yellow I could put around the branches there. So around here I could put this, and I might get a bit of water on my brush to kind of because I'm not doing leaves, but like before I smudged it, I just want to do a sort of, because it's more light going onto grass, I'm just going to try and, I don't know, paint in some colour there to get around that branch, sort of there. And I mean, that's just roundabout. It's not correct, but by any means, but I'm just going from the picture, and I'm putting in where I can see sort of bits of light, which I can use with this yellow ochre. Okay, so now I'm looking at the whole painting, and I've got a bit more wetness on my brush, and I'm just sort of putting in where there might be a bit more light areas. Okay, so maybe a little bit here, the tops of this tree, not the very tops, but this mid section here. And on the other side, there's little details here I could put in around, get some clumps going, the tops there. I feel like I could put some sticky branches in there with my piece of cardboard. Is this making sense? Has anyone got any questions? Or are we pleased with how it's going? We're being engrossed. Okay, so good to be engrossed in your painting, as long as you're looking at your reference as well. So I'm using the edge of this to get some of the branches up the top of this tree here. So I'm quite pleased with these marks. I'm really going for it. And actually, having that bit of water on the brush it's going onto my piece of cardboard a lot better. So I'm getting more marks. There we go. Oh, There we go. It's really going on. So I want to get all these bits of sticky marks going everywhere there. Okay, what else? And maybe some more here. Now that I'm getting excited about this piece of cardboard. And the other thing I just sort of pushed the cardboard in and moved it around, and it sort of gave me a few marks in a row. That was kind of cool. I like that. So feel free, use different different movements. I don't know is everybody using pieces of cardboard and stuff, or just a few people?
On and off.
On and off. On
The
and
only
off.
trouble with the pieces of cardboard, the lines are so straight. I find it difficult
Yes.
to...
So I think you should scrunch up your cardboard a bit so it's not a straight line.
Yeah, okay.
Yeah? So like that. Look at your picture, yeah? And
Yeah.
move your cardboard in a sort of similar angle to which way the trees are going. So I kind of move mine like this and like that. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Or is it too late now to say that? It's too late. She's done it. Okay. Okay, so I'm just going into a bit more detail now, looking at where the yellows are, and so I've put the grassy sticky bits there, but then I see so I'm looking at where the yellow is in the hills and the tops of those trees. So I'm going to put that in now. So this area, which I haven't really gotten into yet. So I think, and I need to put in some more dark areas here because that goes dark all the way across. So I wouldn't blame anyone if they've skipped ahead and mixed a darker colour and then put some darker bits in. Because actually, it's going to help you navigate. Okay. Sorry, Kay, did you have a question?
No.
Any questions? Are people happy with how it's going? Okay. So yeah, I'm going to put in the tops some bits of yellow here. And the background has a bit of yellow, but I'm doing that like really, really lightly. Really just lightly there like that. But I'm going to put yellow. I'm putting yellow at the tops of these hills, really.
I'll see you in you have around for a minute.
But this is quite different strokes. This is quite smooth because this is the background here. So I don't want to have. I don't want it to have any detail. I just want it to be like little misty areas of colour. Like that.
So are we running over with this, Jane? I mean,
Oh, it's 12 o'clock.
yeah.
You can run over if you want to.
So,
Okay.
so I think.
Yeah.
I think we're coming to a good conclusion. I mean, I'm just doing yellow ochre today because I feel like actually, I'll turn my painting around and you'll see what I mean. You think I haven't really done much, but in terms of the overall painting, I'm just putting some bits here as well, you'll see actually it's quite a lot, I think.
Where are you doing it now, in the hills?
So I put a little bit in the background, but I'm going to actually take it off here and just, I put some water on that just to smudge it. I basically just put a bit of spittle on that to smudge it. And then I put some yellow on the tops of the tree. So referring to my picture, there's a bit of lightness in the hills. Yeah. So I'm going to turn my picture around, and I think that will make more sense now. Maybe I should have turned it around before now, but anyway. Here we are. 1 hour later. So
Hey.
actually it's not as much as I thought that I've done. But in terms of the painting, I feel like it's correct. And I think what I could do now.
Could you bring it closer?
Yes,
before we
yes,
finish,
yes.
please?
Okay, here. How's this? Is this good? Okay. We can go really.
Thank you.
This is good. Yeah. So, is it too bright? It's so hard trying to get the right colour.
You've gone.
Oh, do you know what?
We've just got your face now.
I don't know if I've got my camera in.
Oh, there's your face.
Hang on. Start video. Here we are.
That's it.
Yeah.
That's it.
Okay.
Is
All
that-
right.
that-
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's great.
So I'm just seeing if I turn this light off, is that going to be better? Okay. So we'll just talk this through now. The right way up. So I don't know if people can see very well, but so actually I'm going to keep going now. Because I've turned it around, I can see where there's yellow lighter areas that I can put in. So here I didn't do much here, and there's actually more there than I thought. So I'm putting some more up there. Looking at my picture, there's some here which I missed that I haven't put in. I'll put in a bit of that. So this I've got, it's quite a diluted yellow because I don't want to go in with I don't want to go in with dark yellow marks. I'm just putting a little bit in there, like that. So, what else? So down here, there's probably, I'm just putting a little bit of yellow shading really lightly where I think there could be. So here, I mean, I don't think my canvas is the exact shape, orientation, if that makes sense, of this picture. That's not exactly like 3x4 or whatever it is, but it's okay because actually it's showing me not to get too precious about where things are. But here is definitely got to be a lot lighter. So with a brush which is quite diluted, I'm just going over the top of this whole area, yeah, to lighten it up a bit, just to push it back a bit. Can you see what I've done there? I've just gone over this whole, that was too light, so I've just gone over that with the diluted yellow-white solution, just to push that back into the distance. And I feel like this even is a bit, that could be back a bit further too. But can people see how the space is coming into the picture? And then I've even got a little bit of yellow going into the sea there, but so that's what I mean.
Some DIY done.
Pardon? Yes, that was a bit, I don't know what that was. But what is that noise?
That's the builders downstairs.
Yeah, you might want to mute yourself. They have.
You keep that noise to yourself, yeah.
Please. So,
Gotta love builders.
I'll have to mute myself.
yeah, thanks. So I put some watered down yellow solution on the hills here, which is kind of dripped down. I'm just going to move that so people can see what I'm doing. But actually then I just rubbed my finger across like that so I could keep that line in there and rubbed it into the sea. So I feel like that actually helped give it a bit of depth, because before that the sea was just a flat light blue, and I've mixed a bit of yellow into that. It dripped down into it, but then I've just mixed a bit of yellow in that, and actually I think that does just that, improves that. And I'm using my fingers just to rub it down so it's quite subtle. What next? Okay, so I feel like I need to put some yellow in here, which are distant trees. Maybe bits in here. So between the trees here, where there's grass, I'm going to put yellow. Yeah. And I think, you know how we've got these green fields, very green fields in the picture?
Yeah.
I think what I'm going to do is I'm going to go over those green areas with just a bit of yellow, just a little bit of yellow, even though they're green, and then we can go over the top with a kind of a green. But I don't really like how that's, even though the picture it is quite a flat green, I feel like it needs to be lightened up. So I hope I'm not confusing people too much. But at the moment they're grey, and I just feel like they would be better if it was grey and then a little bit of yellow area as well. So I'm just putting a bit of yellow over the top. So you can still see the grey sort of coming through in these areas. But it's all going to be yellow. A bit more yellowy. So I've pretty much covered most of my picture where there's greenery now in yellow ochre. A lot of areas. So I'm even going to lift this up a bit here, which is really dark with the greys. I'm just bringing it out a little bit lighter. And I think what I'll do is I'll go, oh, that's too light now. And then I'll go in with the darker areas. So I'm just putting in a little bit of lightness here around the branches instead of grey. And I'm just softening up these marks a little bit because they're a bit too definite. Maybe a bit in there. So yeah, I think that's where we are. There's sort of a thin layer of yellow ochre over the whole painting now. I've still got a little bit on my brush, and I am going over a lot of the areas. But I feel like this is a successful layer of warm tones. Yeah. For today. I hope people can see that. I mean, I'm really pleased because there's a variation of mark making over here, which I think communicates the scrubby nature of what's going on in the picture. I'm really pleased that this is all misty, yeah, where I smudged it and pushed it back into the background. So I'm literally pushing this back by smudging it all, yeah. And I'm quite happy. I think the green fields will be better for this treatment of a bit of yellow that I've put there. What else? And I might put a little bit here just to warm that up here too, because I feel like there. So I'm using this quite bristly brush, but it's the paint has got a lot of water mixed in, so I'm not going in with any sharp marks or anything. It's more just quite subtle. But now I'm in overpainting territory. I'm going to stop. And I think it's always good. I think we should all just have a break when you can. Because I feel like that's enough, Ange. But actually, now I'm here, I'm like, oh no, that needs to be all a bit lighter. Because the more I look at this, the more I can see, actually, that all needs to be a lot lighter. And here, the bottoms of these trees need to be light as well. So I'm going to put that in there. Anyway, so yeah, I'm pleased with that. It's sort of, it's coming together, you know. It's, you think, oh, that's a long way from that, and it is kind of, but I think we'll get there soon. We'll put in some greens, and then in here in the trees, mixing our blues and yellow, our blue and yellow, cobalt blue and the yellow, and then we'll have another go at the sky, because I feel like this, I mean, I could even put some yellow in the sky here, just sort of smudge it in a little bit. Just a little bit. I feel like that helps. It's helping keeping in the picture all together, to put these little bits of really subtle yellow in the sky. Gives it more depth. So I don't know if people want to have a go at that. So when I say put yellow in the sky, this is like the tiniest bit mixed with water of yellow. Just the tiniest bit of warmth. Just really subtle. So, you know, see how you go.
I've got red showing through in the sky, and I don't think it needs yellow.
Yes, okay, we'll keep the red in. Yeah. So I when I say yellow, I just really mean the most diluted tiny bit of yellow and white. So it's really just a bit of water with the tiniest touch of yellow. But I did that there just so you could sort of see how many colours. You know, you think, oh, that sky is just like one colour, but actually it's going to have a whole lot of colours in it, but really kind of really subtle.
The trouble is, to us, Angie, it looks white.
It does.
You can't see the colours at all.
Okay.
Sadly.
Yeah, so it is, because it's very subtle.
When you say yellow, do you mean yellow or do you mean ochre?
I mean ochre, yellow ochre.
Yeah.
No, yeah, yellow ochre. That's the only yellow we're using.
Yeah.
Don't touch the sherbet. So,
That's better, thank you.
So if you can see that.
Yeah, that's better.
So if you were going to look at art, but when I say look at art, I mean like in the art galleries, you know, the National Gallery or, you know, Russell Coates or wherever you go, you'll see the sky. There's lots of different colours. There's lots of different really subtle shades.
Yeah.
In the sky. So that's what I'm trying to show you here to do, because it will really bring your painting alive. But I'm quite pleased with that as a sort of putting the warm tones in, but can you see how it's sort of coming alive by using those warm tones? So now that's enough for me to show. I'm going to put it back there, and say I'd like to see everybody else's if that's okay.
Do you want to see ours?
Yeah, I do.
Oh God.
Because last week that was my favourite bit last week.
How did you do the snap?
God,
Angie?
Sarah.
How did you take a picture?
I don't know. Hang on.